Hi everyone, today we are going to paint this stacked pumpkin and we're using the board that you received in your kit, and you have some embellishments, leaves and flowers. But for the painting part, I want to make sure I have out my brushes, a cup of water for cleaning the brushes. You want to have paper towels around so that when you're ready to change colors. The first thing I'm going to do is to just give myself a little guideline here with the pencil that that's the bottom of my pumpkin there and the bottom of my second pumpkin there. You'll be able to paint over the lines. And I'm starting with the first pumpkin. You want to kind of brush it out to make sure you're not leaving a bunch of lines. So I want to get the first coat on because I may need a second coat. I'm also painting in the direction that the lines in the pumpkin go in. Keep it a little more realistic. If I have some texture marks, that's kind of cool to see. Okay. Our first coat on everything is basically our base coat because we'll be doing a lot of detail work on top of these coats. So you want to cover your base. I didn't because I just didn't. Okay. And I'm rinsing, and I want to make sure I really squeeze out my brush before I go to the next color, which will be the white. Start painting pumpkin number 2. I'm going to get as close as I can to my to my orange pumpkin there. If you go over the line, that's fine. You can touch it up. So I'm giving a little curve like I did on the bottom of this one. And I always try to keep my strokes in the direction of the lines of whatever I'm painting. So as I touch up the spots that I may have missed here, I'm going in the direction that the ribs on the pumpkin would be in. And I want to make sure I rinse, rinse, rinse before I get to my bottom pumpkin. Now you have a turquoise in your kit for the bottom pumpkin, and you can keep it as bright as it is, or if you want to lighten it up, that's fine too. If you're not sure, just test it and see if you like it. You can always paint over it. So I think I'm going to keep it just like this. You're getting your whole bottom done. Your last pumpkin. Really helps to relax you. And if you want to, you can mix up the colors in a different way. This is your art. Do whatever you want. Getting my lines here. Okay, beautiful. I love that blue. Okay, mixy, mixy, mixy. Now, I did all that with the big brush, and I will still be using the big brush to do a little of the detail work. I want to make sure it's nice and clean. If you have to rinse your water out, you can do that now. Get a fresh cup of water. This is a chalk-like finish, so it'll be kind of a matte finish. if you like a shinier finish on your artwork, you can always give this a spray gloss. They're available at Michael's or Joann's or even Home Depot. The next thing I'm doing is giving some highlights to my pumpkins. So I'm dipping into the white, but I'm wiping off most of it on this paper towel. And I am going to give a very light brush stroke up onto my orange pumpkin. If you need more, always, when you grab the paint, dry off a little bit on the paper towel. Now I'm using a curved stroke here because that part of the pumpkin is curving. And then when you get towards the center of the pumpkin, I'm giving more of a center stroke. I really want to give it the illusion of fullness. So again, on the sides, more of a curve in and out. And in the center, it still has a curve, but it's a little bit less of an arch. Okay. Now, for the white pumpkin, I'm doing something a little different. And I already have some blue on my brush. It picked it up from the highlights that I just did on the blue pumpkin. So now I'm going to just use that little bit of light blue that's on my brush to give my white pumpkin a little bit of color. And again, you can adjust. So if you don't like how much color you've given it, you can come on in there and lightly adjust with the white. Again, keeping with those curves so that you keep with the shape of the pumpkin. Vertical strokes with the curves. So you can tone it down with the white, and once you've done that, it's going to look really nice with that tint. Okay, so you've got a lot done already. We still have a few more steps. I'm ready for my stencils. We have Happy Fall, y'all. If you don't want them, you can freehand anything you like, or you can just take Happy Fall or change them around a little bit. Happy Fall. However you'd like to do them. So I'm going to start with my first one, and when I take the back off the stencil, I'm not just peeling it because I don't want to lose anything, any middles of letters and stuff. So I'm going to put it down and just slide it back. That way I won't lose the insides of my letters, like the inside of the P's and the Y. And I'm going to place it exactly where I want it. It's going to be my top one. Going to make sure it's down well. And then there's the plastic protective covering, and I'm going to slide that off as well. If the blue starts to come up, just firmly push it down with your finger. As I'm peeling it, I'm sliding it, just like I took it off the backing. Sliding it. Okay. And now I want to make sure, just carefully with my finger that all the edges are down. The trick to getting a nice, clean, sharp edge on the stencil is to make sure around the edges that it's really rubbed down well. And I'm going to stick my dabber in my paint. So I've dabbed most of the ink off, but it's actually gone into the foam of my dabber. So it's more like an ink pad. And straight up and down. If I have to get more paint, again, I'm dabbing on the napkin. Always dab on the napkin. Okay, straight up and down for the whole thing. Hit it really hard. So we're going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to go on to the next one. So my next one, I'll be placing here. Same process. Make sure it's down. You can use a card for this. Okay. And slide it back. If anything pulls up, just make sure you rub it down. Okay, and here I go again into my paint. Straight up and down, nice and hard. Now I'm going on to number 3. Okay. And again, sliding off. And placing it. Y'all. And I'm taking off my top area. If something pulls up, press hard while you're peeling. So I'm pressing down when I'm going over something that might pop up. Okay, it's all done. Going around all the edges. Make sure around the letters are nice and tight. Back to my paint. Straight up and down with my dabs. Always straight up and down. When I'm finished with this one, I'm going to go back to the top, and if I see any blotchy areas that need to be dabbed again, I'm going to do that. Okay, now I'm ready to peel. Get the edge. It's fine if it rips. Don't have to be afraid of that. Okay. Got all that up. And you can use a glue gun for this part, or a stapler. Okay, and put your flowers wherever you want them. Okay. You can place them however you like. If you're using the glue gun, you're just gonna glue them down. If you're using a stapler, cut off about half of the wire in the back of the flower, and you can And you can just staple on by stapling the wire and pulling the flower to the angle that you want it. Okay, and on the top, I'm going to do the same, putting in my leaves, and then I'm going to staple on my wire, and turn it, and I think I'm going to just do a flower here. Okay, so there we go. Happy fall, y'all. Okay, once your embellishments are added, you're all done. There's your happy fall, y'all. And I hope you love yours as much as I love mine. Have a great day.